A game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first, right? Before you move.
Right. My first teachers were the guys in Washington Square Park. You know, they were the hustlers there. And for the first 8 months of my chess play, that was all I did. Played speed chess with the guys in the park. And then Bruce Pandolfini, who became my first, I guess you could say, classical teacher, taught me playing there. So I had these two different elements of my chess study. I had the street savvy, just competitor. People started calling me Tiger. That was my nickname. I was a creative, attacking player. I loved to mix things up to make chaos in the board and weave my way through the chaos. Then I had this classical side of my chess study, which was building up from the solid foundation, learning the end games, learning principles. So then I had a way to express this competitive spirit that I was learning in the park. And I think that was a really important thing to me, having these dual elements of my chess study. I think a lot of people tend to go one way or the other way. You have teachers who try to fit students into a kind of a classical cookie-cutter mold. We see this in the education system everywhere. Students are all told they have to take these standardized tests. They have to learn one way, but we all have to learn differently depending on our individuality. And I think the park helped me to explore my own individuality, helped me learn how I should learn individually. And of course, the other side was learning the foundation. You don't want to be self-indulgent with learning your own way only. You've got to learn the technical side of the game too. These two things work really well for me.
Now, with RZA, tell me about your first. How did you learn what was your introduction to just martial arts? Period. Just about the ideas, the philosophies, and things like that. And how did they play a role in your evolution as a producer and as an MC?
As far as martial arts, I started checking out martial arts from watching Kung Fu flicks. You know what I mean? Manhattan, 42nd Street, they had a whole slew of movies that's all they showed. You know what I mean? Every weekend we would go there and just watch 3 movies a week. You know what I mean? And I was probably around the age of 9. By the time I started getting to like 12, 13, I kind of was really fascinated. So I started going down to Chinatown, buy Kung Fu books, slippers, new chucks, you name it. You know what I mean? We was on a mission. But the good thing about it was that, growing up in America for me, right? There wasn't much history outside of 400 years that I was taught. You know what I mean? As I was younger, so I say. And the only thing that we learned of history was probably taking us back to either Greek mythology or colonial days and cowboys and Indians. When I had a chance to watch some martial art films, and we're seeing things from the Tang Dynasty and the Sung Dynasty, and you're seeing 1,500-year-old history. You're seeing the remarkable struggles they going through. It kind of opened my mind to a whole new world. There was a movie called Into the 36 Chambers, and that was the first movie that I saw that kind of took me back to that past. And when I seen it, it just kind of changed my whole philosophy on life. And you see this movie. You'll see in this movie. There's a scene where you got the Buddhist monks all sitting down in the highest chamber. They're talking about the philosophy of Buddhism. And you see one monk is like, the 5 tones different every is, the 5 colors blind your sight, and it goes on and on, right? And me hearing these things for the first time, it kind of put me into the principle mode of it. So I started buying books on Buddhism, buying books on Taoism, and then applying those principles as well as studying Christianity and Islam at the same time. And so, and that eventually translated to my music. My first album was called Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. I named it 36 Chambers because I figured it was, first of all, 36 chambers is a complete cipher, you know what I mean? It goes back to your pressure points and all that. But to me, a man goes through a chamber every day. I mean, everything he's doing, that's a chamber, yo. How he plays his games of chess, he got his chamber. How I play, I got my chamber, you know what I mean? And there's many chambers. And so that philosophy all merged together, put out a classic album, brought out some other brothers to agree with the philosophy. We made history with that, yeah?
Absolutely.
Style is immensely